Alabama took on Tennessee Saturday. And again, key mistakes, undisciplined football led to an Alabama loss. The coaches had their press conference on Monday. And honestly, I'm still trying to decipher some of the things that were talked about. And I think you guys are as well. So we're going to talk about that. I'm going to play some clips. I'm going to give you my opinions and hope that Alabama can get it pulled together in time to beat Missouri this coming Saturday. So we'll get into that right here on the Bama Tailgate YouTube channel. Like and subscribe. Thumbs up. That's a way of saying roll tide, and let's get this thing started. Roll Tide, everybody. Thanks for hanging out with us here on the Bama Tailgate YouTube channel. You know, it's been a tough week, but still getting after it, letting you know what's going on in the world of football and talking about the Crimson Tide. But we have not forgot about our main man, Big Sexy Elmo, and, man, we miss him so much. All right, look, let's get into this football game. Saturday I found to be a very disappointing loss. It was a game that Alabama would have won in the past. It felt a lot like Mike Shula ball, where in the fourth quarter, when you expected Alabama to make some plays, they didn't do it. The offensive line, the quarterback, some of the passing, some of the running, the penalties, and it all turned into a soup of defeat to Tennessee. And it wasn't like Tennessee played a great football game either, but they made enough plays at the end of the game. So every Monday, Alabama gets the coaches together. They go offense or defense first, then defense or offense second, and then Coach DeBoer third. So what I want to talk about first is the discipline issues on this football team. And it was something that I said on here at the beginning that I was very worried about when all the stuff happened with Malachi Moore at the end of the Vandy game. It's not an assault on him. He's actually played really good football, and he's been fine on the field since. But it's your team captain kicking a football, not coming off when they're sending somebody in for him, obviously throwing a fit. We all been through this before in our life where we're upset about something, and it was just the wrong time for that display because as a leader and as a captain with a C on your uniform for the first time I can ever remember at Alabama, it's probably because it's never happened before, you really just picked the wrong time and the wrong situation to act like that. And because it sends a message to the rest of the team. So then Tennessee, Alabama's in their, 2-minute drive. They need to score a touchdown to get the lead. And it's 4th and 7. And you got a guy in Kendrick Law getting into a fight with a Tennessee guy. And he got the flag. And so now Alabama goes from 4th and 7 to 4th and 20, whatever. And now instead of having a realistic 4th down opportunity, they're way back there. And instead of punting, they go for it, give Tennessee 3 points, and Alabama loses the football game. Kalen DeBoer was asked about that in the press conference, and here's what he had to say. And then I kind of want with you guys to get into this because, I don't know, man. I mean, I'm just trying to figure out like what we're doing.
Well, the message continues to be right with the team. It's not just one. It's we gotta learn from those moments. Those moments are big, and our choices, our decisions, our words, our actions. I mean, all of those things. They have to be focused on what's best for our team. And obviously, in that moment, we're fighting to try to find a way to win, and it's a big moment. And so, we got to make sure we, of course, address them, but we got to. We can't continue to have the mistakes, and that those are in particular that we can control. Some things you just can't control, the things that happen to you, the way the ball bounces, and all of those things. So, I think just everything in general, it starts with our thoughts. We got to make sure other people's thoughts don't become ours, and we got to make sure that if someone's talking to us, we gotta learn to walk the other way, and be a more emotionally disciplined in every facet, not just the high aggression type things, but also just when, the momentum swings and things like that happen in a game, be able to trust in your preparation, trust in what you're doing. But yeah, we got to be better. We got to be better there. And obviously that's an important part of what great teams do, is be great in those times.
All right, there you go. Be great in those times, right? And to me, I'm just like, I mean, are we still figuring this out? I mean, we're halfway through the season now, and these aren't just guys that just showed up. I mean, this is a guy in Law who we expected to be a big cog in the wheel that is Alabama. But I mean, who's going to go up and say something to him? I mean, you going to send your captain over? And that's the problem when you accept guys on the team not playing with discipline. Then all of a sudden, when something else happens, I mean, who's going to hold them accountable? There's no accountability right now. And I like Coach DeBoer a lot. And this isn't a personal attack on him because, I do like him and I want to see him succeed. And I think that there's a lot of things that he brings to the table that I feel like are good things for this program. And I don't think you have to be Nick Saban and be chewing on everybody. I mean, I know you don't, but with this group right now, whatever Kalen DeBoer and his staff are doing, it's not translating. And I'm not talking about the fact that they lost some games. Even the games that they've won, you're sitting there going, man, I mean, these guys make too many penalties. They're not blocking. They're missing assignments. And this thing could go off the rails fast if they don't get it figured out. But being disciplined isn't just a football problem. Being disciplined is life. You got to be disciplined in life. Somebody says something to you and you're trying to win a game and you got 2 minutes left. Just go back to the line of scrimmage. I mean, the fact that we even have to talk about this because it could have cost Alabama the game. We don't know. I mean, they made enough mistakes where that's not the one where I'm going, okay, well, this is the one. Like the Vandy game, Pritchett misses a block. Milroe gets blindsided, fumbles. Yeah, that was the play that cost him the game, but they made enough mistakes. It couldn't stop him on defense. This team is teetering right here. It's teetering on having a disastrous season, but it's teetering on the college football playoff. They're not out of it. I mean, you don't have to be in the top 4 anymore. So they're on the outside looking in, but you beat Missouri, they're ranked. You go to LSU, you win that game. You go to Oklahoma, other teams are going to lose. You can easily get into the college football playoff if you're Alabama, if you figure it out. But this team's not good enough to just write W's down next to names. They have to get disciplined, or it's not going to be the type of season that anyone at Alabama was hoping for. Now, the second thing I want to talk about is, well, I've gotten into the officiating. I don't think Alabama lost the game because of the officiating. Last time we were at Tennessee, it made me think that some of these guys might be paid off. This time, I don't feel like that. I feel like it was, bad. They missed calls. They miss calls every single game because they're not that good. But it didn't seem like a coordinated assault like it did the game, last time there. It just felt like, well, they miss a lot because, these guys are, working at insurance agencies all week. They're work at schools. They do this and that. They're not pros other than they're getting paid to do it. And at some point, college football needs to have like full-time. All you do is officiate game guys. Have a very high standard, because what's going on right now, it's really bad. And there's too much money involved in this now to just have, guys that are basically, coming off of being insurance agents and stuff and going out there and think about this. What if I could do it? Right. I mean, what's the qualification? I'm going to put the broadcast down and go officiate football games. And that's what we got. Alabama didn't win because they weren't disciplined. With that said, I know that on the fake injury play, you could tell somebody yelled at Matt King to fall down and act hurt because they weren't letting Alabama, substitute. Okay, we know what happened. But I found I found this from Kane Wommack, this response to the question, and I think I'm going to play the whole thing here for you, to be one of the most ridiculous responses that I've ever heard outside of, the political arena. I mean, this to me was right up there with the time that they asked Bill Clinton about Monica Lewinsky, if any of you guys are old enough for that. So let me put this up there and let's enjoy this together.
On that illegal substitution penalty where it looked like Moling was pushed King and then he went down.
Yeah, I mean, guys, obviously we tell guys if you're injured or if you're hurt or if you're, pulling up with a cramp, you got to go down in that situation. We're not able to substitute someone when a team is going fast. And so if you're injured, the protocol there is for a guy to go down. And I think, we were able, our training room does a tremendous job, and we got a guy back after however long it was.
All right. Yeah, it reminds me of when Bill Clinton said, give me the definition of is. What is? I mean, it was kind of like, I'm watching this and I'm going, we are not a school of faking injuries. I mean, that's never been our style, but also other teams, and Tennessee's one of them, Ole Miss is one of them. There's teams that are like masters of doing that. It's like watching Duke play basketball. You get bumped and you act like the guy knocked you out and you fall straight on your back, like you've been shot. But we're doing that now, and we're the worst at doing it. I mean, that was the worst fake of an injury I've ever seen. Now, I get it. And Clint on Cover Crimson, my partner over there, is like, hey, man, like they deserve that. They were, by rule, they're supposed to be able to substitute. Look, I know all that. And I'm not saying that I think the officials messed that up again. So when, so-and-so's driving back to sell cars on Monday, that's probably not really what they're worried about. They're picking up their check and getting back out on the lot. I mean, they missed a big call, but they missed a lot of big calls. But that fake injury was so fake. And I understand that Kane's probably got to say that, don't want to get fined. And I just found it amusing. I'm not even like mad at him. Like, I'm not even embarrassed. I'm just saying, like, it's like the dog ate my homework. Well, I did it, but the dog ate it. Mom spilled coffee on it. Like that. If I would have brought that excuse to Dr. Alza Coffey's political science class, God rest his soul, at Alabama, I got an F. I got an F for that. So I wanted to throw that out there. And I know that a lot of you guys have gotten into the comment section and you're tired of the bad discipline. And then that play has gotten a lot of talk. But this is the one right here that was in this press conference, was one that I was like, now this is, to me, the top of the ladder of ridiculousness, right? So they're talking about the fourth down sneak that Milroe had, and Alabama got it. Now, it didn't look like they got it. Remember, they got it, and then Tennessee had called timeout, and then this time, the second time, they just dove straight ahead, and somehow they got the first down, but it didn't look like Milroe went anywhere. But I was glad they gave it to him. And in the background, there's a couple guys that are pretending to shoot baskets, okay? Like fadeaway jump shots during the play. And, wow. Okay, so I'm going to play this response, and then we'll talk about that, which is pretty funny. But it's not that funny when you're losing. It's more funny when you're winning.
On Jalen's fourth down sneak towards the end of the first half, the TV broadcast showed Ryan and Jeremy pretending to shoot a basketball on the outside of the field. Is that part of the design of the play or just something spontaneous?
Yeah, you're talking about the quarterback sneak. Yeah, there's nothing on the field that we're not coaching. So that's what.
All right. So ice cream trucks, DJs, and then, fourth down and one jump shot celebrations. I mean, is that really what we're doing now? Or is, is this one of those things where we're like, okay, these guys went out there and did that, and I just got to act like I'm part of, I told them to do it, right? So wow. is this kind of where we've gotten now? I like doing stuff like that too. I mean, like on the playground, we used to do all that kind of stuff. Let's have a good time. But there's a difference between having fun when you're doing all the things right that you need to do to be successful. And there's another thing when it's like, hey, we're not doing the little things right to have success. Matter of fact, we're doing a lot of things wrong. And then you see that and you're like, who are we? And that's the question that this coaching staff, and I like these guys. Look, I'm not running them out of town by any means. But I think over the course of where you started at and where you're at now, that we've got an issue. One of the toughest things that you have to do as a leader is try to get everyone on the same page. And to me, and I've learned in my time, that it's a lot easier to be hard at first, and then when people prove themselves, give them a lot more slack than trying to be easy on people at first and then try to reel them in when they're not following the rules or they're not living up to the standard or they're not getting their job done. And I feel like this is the toughest thing that Coach DeBoer and his staff are going to have to do, because now we're looking at it and it feels like this thing is all over the place and they're going to have to reel it back in. And we're at a point right now that if they don't do it, this season could be really, really bad. But if they do, Alabama could still accomplish every goal that they wanted to accomplish, right? Maybe not beat all their rivals, but they could still somehow win the SEC, or they could still get into the college football playoff and win the national championship. But before I would even get into any of that stuff, they've got to figure out how to get back to playing disciplined football. And I think that starts with what's going on off the field and the expectations that are at Alabama that have been there for a long time being met. And this season really reminds me of 2010, which to me was the most disappointing season of Nick Saban's career at Alabama. All right, guys, thanks for hanging out with us on the Bama Tailgate YouTube channel. A couple things I want to say before we get off here, and that is that our show is always proudly presented by newlifeart.com. Use the promo code Bama Tailgate and get 20% off the classics. Pimp out your man cave, your studio, your office, your home with some of those great classic Daniel Moore prints. Relive all the great moments. I've got a whole wall of them here of all the championship memories. Maybe it's a game that you went to. Maybe it's a special moment that you remember. They also have a bunch of other really cool stuff like coffee mugs and calendars and everything. But newlifeart.com, promo code Bama Tailgate, get you 20% off. Now, we're also presented the channel by Pearl River Resort over in Philadelphia, Mississippi. Right now, celebrating 30 years at Philadelphia, Golden Moon, Silver Star Casino. And it has been a great 30-year celebration. Saw Boys to Men there earlier this year. Big and Rich with Gretchen Wilson was there as well. So it's been a really good year for concerts at Pearl River Resort, but also table games and slots. And if you go to Golden Moon Casino, go in there, go to the sports book, Timeout Sports Lounge. And if you spend $50 at the sports book, you can play Dancing Rabbit Golf Course. It's the Augusta that you can play, and it is fantastic over there. And this time of year, perfect for golf, man. Perfect for anything outside for just $40. So take us up on that. Bachelor party, birthday weekend, just want to get away from the house, whatever. Pearl River Resort, love the place, and I think you guys will as well. Philip M. Steakhouse, Mama and Them's Restaurant, a lot of really good eating over there. And just a chill vibe to get away. And it's about an hour and a half from Tuscaloosa, but it's really close to anywhere in the state of Alabama. I think like 2 hours from Birmingham. So check them out and roll Tide, guys. Thanks for hanging out. The Bama Tailgate Show, we're going to record the Saturday show Friday from Unique on the Strip. That is the Old Egan's right across from the Houndstooth. We'll be there from 1 to 4. So you guys have come out. And it has been, I got to tell you, it's been a real pleasure getting to know all of you guys as you've come to the show. So we'll put it on the speakers for you. Hang out with us. Hopefully the weather's supposed to be really nice. And Jay Coker and I will be there So we hope that you guys will as well. So roll tide, everybody, and we'll talk to you again tomorrow.
Escape to Pearl River Resort.